Hey guys, Standing Simmer here today, and welcome back to the channel for another build in The Sims 4. Now guys, this is a community lot, and it is part of my Building Up Windenburg series that has kind of taken over the channel here on the last couple of weeks. If you've paid attention to any of my builds here, once again, in the last couple of weeks, you'll know that it's been pretty prevalent. All of the builds have been for this series. So I am so motivated, as I've mentioned before, to build for this series because I have a dedicated project to work on. And so for that reason, I'm just kind of like getting the builds out because the inspiration is there, and I'm just really excited to be bringing you every new build as they come, because I don't know, in my mind so far they're all different enough, they're all varied enough that I think that they go well in the save. They all complement each other nicely, but I'm not bored building them, so I hope you guys aren't bored seeing them. So I say that they look very, very different to one another, and that is there's a little bit of an exception that could kind of come along with that for this particular build. If you saw my quarter laundromat and cafe, you might notice that some elements of the exterior of this build are kind of reminiscent of that build as well. I built it in a slightly similar style, which is modern, and then the way that I do the I guess the connection between the two buildings, one is a two-story and then one is a single story, they look kind of similar. I mean, you can definitely tell that, say, like the same architect built these two builds. I mean, that was me, obviously, but if we're just strictly talking about the Sims, I feel like that the same Sim would have designed both the quarter laundromat and cafe and then this build as well, which, by the way, guys, I think I might as well go ahead and tell you that it is a restaurant. I think I'm going to call it Portside Grill or something along those lines, because I really like the idea of incorporating the fact that it is on the waterfront along with the name itself, and grill because it's a restaurant. So I think it's really neat because I've actually never built a restaurant in The Sims before, at least to the best of my knowledge. At least I know for sure I have never shared a restaurant on YouTube. If I've built a restaurant, it's just completely escaping my mind right now. But yeah, so guys, this is a restaurant and it is a grill, and by that I mean like there's a lot of like that type of food that's served here. There's like some seafood, there's some steak, although I don't show any of this on camera, but it will be uploaded to the gallery with a custom menu. So I actually went through and painstakingly picked out the entire menu by hand so that I felt like it could suit the type of build that I set out to make this, if that makes sense. So I went ahead and made sure to include some vegetarian options as well, guys. So your vegetarian Sims will be well taken care of here, so no worries there. Don't be turned off by the fact that it says grill. It's not just meat and seafood that's served here. You do have some vegetarian options as well. But long story short, I had a lot of fun putting this together because it enabled me to do some things that I don't normally get the chance to do because it is a restaurant. Again, you know, it's very different to a lot of other community lot types, and of course very different to like a home, which is what I tend to build the vast majority of the time. So we spent a whole bunch of time in this build, guys, kind of working on the exterior because I was actually building this off of a reference photo. It doesn't end up looking exactly like the reference photo, but I was heavily inspired with the exterior of this build. I actually just I feel like I went on Pinterest and I was like, you know, modern restaurant exterior or something along those lines, and one of the photos that came up kind of had a similar look and feel to the outside of this restaurant, specifically when it came to like what I ended up doing with the shelving that lines the windows on the outside, and then the fencing that I end up doing on the very top of the build that kind of reaches over the edge. I don't know if any of what I'm saying right now is making sense, but any of those like unique looking design elements that you've probably never seen me do before, that was all drawn from this inspiration photo. So I don't know if I still have that photo anywhere. If I can find it again, I'll pop a photo up on the screen, but if not, you don't hate me. Like, once again, I'm pretty sure that's just what I searched on Pinterest was that phrase, and that's what came up. So it was built from a reference photo, but everything beyond that, and then definitely some elements of the exterior kind of just came out of my own brain, kind of based on how I thought that the lot was flowing at that time. So once again, super excited with how it looks. I would totally, hands down, take my Sims here to eat, which I feel like is a pretty good test of how good I think it ended up turning out. If I actually feel like I would play in this slot, that means that I'm happy, and the fact that I'm sharing it to YouTube means that I'm happy with how it turned out, long story short. So I definitely don't ever really plan on sharing something to YouTube that I'm not happy with as far as how it turned out. I feel like it would be really hard for me to put the effort into editing and doing a voiceover for, and just putting the time into something like that. I feel like I would be I feel like you could tell that my enthusiasm would be lacking in that sense. So I really just don't ever really want to do that, to be honest with you. So guys, pretty much you can guarantee that if I'm sharing a build with you, it's something I'm proud of. So once again, like I told you, the kind of some of the design elements of this build are reminiscent of the laundromat that I built, and this kind of part that we're working on kind of in this area with the glass roof that reaches from the lower story, like the single story part of the build, up to the top of the second story part with the beams and all that kind of on the inside. That is kind of the part that I'm talking about. So the exterior does look very similar in that sense. There are definitely other things that set it apart from the laundromat. So again, it's different enough that I wasn't feeling like I was completely copying myself here, but I really like the way that it looks. And once again, I feel like it's realistic to say that the same person who designed the one could have also designed the other. So that's definitely what we were going for. Now guys, as of the moment, the very second I'm recording this build is not yet up on the gallery, but by the time that this video goes up, then it will be up on the gallery. Honestly, the thing that has kept me from uploading it as of right now is the fact that the gallery photo looks so bad. So guys, if you go through it and you look for this on the gallery, just do not be turned off by the gallery photo, because it's bad. I don't know what the deal is, because I built it facing the side where the Sims spawn on the lot, because usually that's the side where the gallery photo comes from. And usually if I'm even like questioning that or anything like that, I'll like draw a wall on the ground and then click the, the upload to gallery or the save to library button, and then just see what side of that wall the photo is taken from. If I'm ever in doubt or if I'm ever questioning it, then I will do that just to make sure that the photo looks okay. But in this case, I didn't have an issue. I didn't even think to do that because I thought that it wouldn't be a problem. Turns out the gallery photo is taken from the most uninteresting part of the build, which is not something we've worked on just yet, but long story short, it's taken from the side of the build with like completely gray walls, nothing going on, because it's the side of the build, like there's nothing there of interest. And of course, that's the side that the gallery photo is taken on. So pardon me for the horrible gallery photo. I guess I could possibly move it to another lot and just let it be uploaded that way, but then I kind of like it to be obvious when you look at my builds on the gallery, what lot I kind of originally had it meant for, especially since this is for a Build World series. So I think I probably will just leave it and let it have just a horrible gallery photo. I think it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. It kind of does bug me, honestly, but it's not the end of the world. So, but like I said, by the time that this video goes up, it will be on the gallery. So if you guys want to download it, you can, and the download link is always in the description. I've kind of taken to doing that here in the last couple of months because I just feel like it's easier for you guys. So you can always click through to that download link and then download it into your game once you sign in with your EA account. And then the next time you open up your game, it should be waiting for you. So I think that's pretty cool. I've actually utilized that feature a couple of times personally, and it's really handy. So I don't know, I just thought it would be a nice thing for me to start implementing in my videos, and here we are. So guys, one thing I do want to say is that like I said earlier, actually, I have been so inspired to build for this series that I have already started several other works in progress. There are a lot of half-finished builds that are kind of just waiting for me to either put the finishing touches on, or in the case of some houses that I have going, like I've only built the outside and done the landscaping, and like the entire inside is waiting to be done. And so there are definitely some cases where I've got a lot of work to do on some builds, and in some cases I just have to do a couple little things. In fact, a little earlier today, I was working on the build that should go up a little later in the week if all things go according to plan, and literally all I had left to do was like a couple of bedrooms, and I had to finish off the landscaping and then like take the screenshots. That was it. But there are a lot of builds that are in varying stages of completeness, I guess you could say, that I'm really excited to share with you guys kind of as time goes on. As I mentioned before, I feel like that the Windenburg that I'm creating has enough variation between the neighborhoods that everything's not going to look exactly the same. There are going to be different styles that I'm trying to play with and all that good stuff. So everything's going to look different enough that it hopefully won't be that big of a deal for every build that I'm sharing to kind of for it to be, I guess, for this Windenburg save. For some reason, I'm having difficulty like communicating that, but that's what I'm going for right there. So another thing, guys, I wanted to tell you guys about is that, well, one thing I wanted to do just period in this voiceover is I wanted to like officially introduce myself again, because here in the last like week or so, we've had a ton of brand new people join the channel just kind of all at once. And I know that there are a lot of you guys that may not know exactly who I am, and maybe you don't know the story behind like my username and all that good stuff. So just in case you don't know me, guys, I am Mariah. I'm Standing Simmer. Obviously, I'm sure you understand that if you have clicked through to my video in some way, shape, or form. But I'm Standing Simmer here on YouTube. My name is Mariah, though, and I'm called Standing Simmer because I utilize a standing desk to play The Sims. So I don't sit ever when I play The Sims, unless like for some reason, I don't know, if I'm like really, really tired, or if I have like a headache that isn't affected by me playing The Sims, but for some reason it just makes it difficult for me to stand up for too long. I don't know. But on the rare occasion will I sit down to play The Sims. But the vast majority of the time I am standing at my desk and just kind of either recording or playing or doing whatever here at my computer. So that is why I'm the Standing Simmer here on YouTube. And welcome. I just want to say thanks, guys, for joining. I really hope that you enjoy the time that you spend here on the channel, and that you feel pretty welcome here, because that's always my goal. So I definitely wanted to make sure to just kind of insert that here at some point, because once again, I've been so excited to see all the growth here recently. It's been such a lovely few days kind of seeing that number increase kind of out of nowhere, it seems like. So yeah, guys, I just really appreciate you being here, and I hope you guys enjoy the content that I work really, really hard to put out here on the channel. So yeah, welcome. But guys, another thing I want to mention here as well regarding, once again, the Windenburg save, which I'm actually going to table that comment for just a second, because there's something I want to tell you guys about in the build. So we haven't quite come to the point where I am putting in a lot of the furnishing just yet. At this point, we've already decorated the bathrooms, the kitchen, and I'm kind of starting to put on the wallpaper and all that for the rest of the build. But a prevailing factor that you'll see as far as coloring goes is that the color red kind of really seemed to pop out in this build. And I don't even remember how it started. I don't even remember like when it came to be, but the color red just kind of was really speaking to me in this build. And I think it looked nice considering this is supposed to be a little bit more of a classy type of restaurant. I don't know. So I was really kind of wanting to stick with some pretty like dark, earthy-ish type tones, so a lot of neutrals. And then, like I said, suddenly this pop of red just emerged, and I was like, you know what, that looks really good, we're gonna stick with it. So like I said, that's kind of like the overreaching theme as far as color goes throughout this build. A lot of neutrals, a lot of earth tones, but then again, some reds as well, which I just think stick out really nicely in a restaurant like this. I feel like it's a color that works well with like more of a formal type environment, which, by the way, this restaurant does have like a formal dress code. So if your Sims come here, then they will automatically change into their formal wear. I felt like that it ended up being like the best kind of dress code to have for this kind of a place. If you could pick multiple dress codes, I think that'd be cool, but then your Sims wouldn't know what to change into when they arrived. But I definitely pictured this more of like a fancy lunch place, you know, the kind of place you would come with colleagues or with business partners or something along those lines. So you'd come here for lunch possibly, and of course in that case you'd be dressed in like a little bit more formal type wear most likely, but then I also picture it to be a really good place for you to go on a date or something along those lines. So I thought that formal kind of fitted it a little bit better as far as dress style goes. And then here we are kind of working on putting in the tables and all that good stuff as well, which I will get back to my original thought here in just a second, but I have one more thing that I want to mention before I get distracted again. But I did try to put in a variety of like table seating numbers. So you have tables that will seat 2, you have tables that will seat 4. There's a 6-seater and an 8-seater on the top floor, because I really hate when you take your Sims to a restaurant and there's not just like a 2-seater for your date, like they have 4-seaters, and that always looks a little awkward. Or perhaps when you take your entire Sim family out and you need a full 8-seater table and all the restaurant has is like 4s or 6s, because then that means you have to do some modification to the lot. And I don't know, it's just nice when that sort of thing comes kind of pre-existing. So I tried to be conscientious about that with this build. So one thing, guys, I was about to say a little bit ago before I kind of got distracted, as I do a lot of the time. If you've been here for a while, you know that that's a thing. But I actually took some time the other night and I drew out all of the neighborhoods of Windenburg and I gave them the names I've kind of been, like the working names I've been using for them in my mind. And I literally like drew out all the lots kind of, and you know, where they are on the world map. I numbered of them. And then I wrote in their lot sizes and the lot types and kind of what I'd already filled in for those lots and then what I hope to fill in for those lots as well. And so guys, long story short, I still have a couple of lots that are kind of up in the air, especially community lots. So guys, you've given me some amazing suggestions so far as like what kind of lots you would like to see in Windenburg when it's all said and done. But guys, if there's anything you would like to add to that, if there's anything you'd like to suggest for me to add to Windenburg, again, especially community lot wise, I mean, residential lots kind of are going to fit the theme of the neighborhood that I have in mind for them. But if you have like a specific community lot idea that you'd like to see, then definitely just like throw your suggestions at me in the comments, because I will most certainly write them down at least. And who's to know that they might be implemented at some point. So I have some really fun ideas, and like I said, cannot wait to actually start putting them in action. Like, I literally have had trouble even playing the game for myself, like my current households. I've still been playing my current households like kind of like regular, but I've been gravitating so much so here recently to building more than anything, because I'm so motivated to like create all these really cool sounding community lots and really fill out the neighborhoods and then like turn them around so I can share them with you guys, because that's really what I enjoy doing with this whole save anyway. I don't know, I just think it's really cool, and I've been having a lot of fun with it so far. It's really cool for me to have like a dedicated project, because I don't know, I tend to get distracted if I'm just like building things randomly and if there's no real purpose to the things I'm putting out. But I love so much that there is a purpose, like there is a dedicated direction that all this is going, and that makes me really happy. I don't know, it just satisfies my brain for me to be working on something specific, guys. So here in just a second, we will be jumping into the screenshots, guys, and I really hope you enjoy those. I actually hope that you enjoy the build as a whole, and I appreciate you tuning in for it today. Definitely leave me any comments or suggestions you have in the comments down below, because I always love to hear from you guys. I mean, you know that. Hopefully you know that, because I do love to hear from you. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it off right here. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having the best of days, and I will see you very soon. Bye!